Lieutenant Leon Crane, 22 years old, a U.S. Army Air Forces pilot in the middle of World War II. Your mission is routine, nothing unusual. You're flying a B-24 Liberator bomber through the icy skies of Alaska, and then it happens. A sudden jolt shakes the entire aircraft. The engines sputter one by one. A deafening explosion tears through the fuselage. The bomber starts spinning out of control. At 21,000 feet, you have seconds to decide: stay and die in the fire, or jump into the unknown. Lieutenant Leon Crane made his choice. He grabbed his parachute and bailed out. No gloves, no winter gear, just what he was wearing. A thin flight suit and boots not made for the cold. When he hit the ground, the silence was crushing. No gunfire, no engines, just the howling wind and the endless white wilderness of Alaska. He was alive, but not for long if he didn't act fast. The temperature that night was minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit. You can't even breathe without pain. The air slices your lungs like glass. And Leon Crane had nothing. No food, no shelter. No map, no radio. Just a Boy Scout knife, 2 packs of matches, and his parachute. The bomber had gone down miles away. He couldn't see smoke. He couldn't hear voices. He was completely and utterly alone. He knew one thing: if he stayed still, he'd freeze to death. So he started walking. Snow up to his knees, freezing wind biting into his skin, every breath a battle. He told himself, just keep moving. The first few days were hell. He survived on melted snow for water. No food. His stomach screamed for anything. He chewed on twigs, bark, even leather straps from his gear. His lips cracked open and bled. His cheeks burned from frostbite. Every step felt like dragging lead. He tried to make fire using his matches. The first one lit, then fizzled out. He tried again. A spark caught. Finally, a small flame. He built a fire, and for the first time in days, he felt the tiniest flicker of hope. But hope doesn't fill your stomach. Days turned into weeks. Crane kept moving, following the frozen rivers, praying they would lead to people. But every mile was a gamble. One wrong step and he'd fall through the ice. One wrong move and it was over. On the 9th day, nearly dead from starvation and cold, Crane saw something that made him fall to his knees and cry. A cabin in the middle of nowhere. A miracle. It was a trapper's shelter. Left behind for emergencies just like this. He pushed the door open and stepped inside. What he saw saved his life: food, real food. Canned goods, powdered milk, flour, matches, a rifle, warm clothes. For the first time in almost 2 weeks, Leon Crane wasn't dying. He was living. He built a fire. He boiled water. He made cocoa and took his first warm sip since the day of the crash. And in that moment, he felt something stronger than fear: hope. But one cabin wasn't enough. If he wanted to survive the winter, he had to find people. Real people. So after resting and eating, Crane started moving again. Cabin to cabin. Shelter to shelter. Sometimes it took days between stops. Sometimes it took everything he had left to keep walking. He battled frostbite, hunger, and the crushing weight of loneliness. He built sleds to carry supplies, only to abandon them when they became too heavy. But he didn't stop. He couldn't stop. Because stopping meant death. Finally, after 84 brutal days, on March 4th, 1944, Leon Crane stumbled into a trapper's camp. The man who found him couldn't believe his eyes. Crane was a walking skeleton, frostbitten, hollow-eyed, barely able to stand. But alive. Against all odds, alive. The trapper gave him food, warmth, and the words he'd been waiting nearly 3 months to hear. You're safe now. Leon Crane returned home, finished the war, and went on to live a full life. He became an aeronautical engineer. His story inspired books, survival training programs, and soldiers for decades to come. He had no GPS, no winter gear, no survival training beyond the basics. But he had something far more powerful: the will to live. In the deadliest winter, one man proved that survival isn't about strength. It's about heart. So ask yourself this: would you have made it out alive?